Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of JustDario Cigar Time. Today, we're going to talk about Smci, of course, but also what are going to be the consequences potentially for its business partners, and about a strong gut feeling I have that Smci events might eventually even open an SEC Pandora'S Vase. So, first of all, Smci mission impossible to remain listed. Why it's a mission impossible? They have no auditor. They have no audited 10K. They just filed for a NT10Q form saying already that they will face significant delays in filing their 10Q, and this will not be possible to be done within the expected timeline, and effectively they are running out of time against the extensions that the Nasdaq already provided to them. So in all fairness here, the company here is not being, not being very honest, although shouldn't be a surprise if I say this, but how on earth the company can claim any chance to submit a plan to regain compliance with Nasdaq rule in the current situation? I mean, it's objectively impossible. And I tell you more, if you read the 8K disclosure filed the 6th of November, where they communicated to markets their financial results for the latest quarter, there is a very interesting line in that 8K. In that line, Smci says, we are going to do all we can to submit a plan for Nasdaq review and provide us a 180 days extension to regain compliance and to remain listed. However, there is a last line after that says, if the decision is not going to be accepted, we will appeal that decision with a Nasdaq hearing panel. I mean, if you state that you didn't do anything wrong, that for whatever reason, what Ernst & Young did, it's, completely out of line. It was baseless. The auditor maybe had hallucinations and just a bad time with the audit committee, and everything is fine. So why are you already saying that you will appeal a decision? I mean, man, let's be fair here. This doesn't look like the wording of someone that expects to receive a positive update on whatever they're going to submit, right? So here is what I think is going to happen. Tomorrow, Monday, 18th of November, they're going to announce they submitted the plans. And then, shortly after, within the same days or within 24 hours, the Nasdaq, of course, is going to reject them because, I mean, how not to? Right now, a company without any auditor, without compliance and whatever, if they had an auditor, if Ernst & Young was still in place, there could have been a chance to get an extension, but they don't even have an auditor. So it's totally fair that the trading on the shares is being suspended. Well, they didn't do anything wrong. They will go back to be listed again. But if you look at the rules, there is no chance they can be on board with that. And as I said many times, if they do, they actually put themselves at risk of being co-conspirators on efforts to commit security frauds in case the situation in the future evolves and bad things about Smci surface and are confirmed. Okay? So, but of course, so they will reject, and then Smci is going to say, oh, we're going to appeal. Here we go. Everyone is going to say, oh, they're going to appeal. It's going to be fine. There is a chance, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the game, it's pretty obvious here. On Wednesday, after the bell, there are going to be NVIDIA results. So clearly there is an effort not to spoil that event in any way. You can already feel the nervousness in the markets about this situation. Friday was quite strange. If you check the dark pool trades after hours this week on companies connected to Smci like NVIDIA, there were some super large trades, like 1 billion chunks or so. It is strange, right? You can feel that despite all the PR going around, the announcement and whatever, people are starting to become a bit skeptic. So clearly they want to avoid to spoil that event. Will they succeed? I don't know, but frankly, personally speaking, I don't care. As you know, I don't have any stock whatsoever, but everyone that holds shares of any semiconductor company right now should really think hard whether the risk reward of staying invested in this environment with growing uncertainty is really worth it, with stocks trading at this incredibly high and hyperinflated valuation. So what's going to happen if SMCI listing is being suspended and might end up being delisted? The direct consequences are pretty straightforward. 1.725 billion of convertible notes issued by SMCI will be immediately payable. And that's a problem. Why it's a problem? Because SMCI at the moment has this debt plus other 600 million that is bank lending. And many didn't notice this, but a Taiwanese bank, Cathay, already agreed to not enforce the breach of covenant on a 100 million loan SMCI had when basically they didn't file audited financial on time, and they extended this requirement till December. This happened even before Ernst & Young resigned. So overall, SMCI has 2.1 billion in cash and $2.3 billion in debt. Tell me, what are the chances that if the company gets delisted and if all these debt covenants are triggered and the creditor wants their money back, the company is not going to file for Chapter 11? Of course, it's really hard, because if you check SMCI financial statements, and in particular on the asset sides, there is not really much else that can be liquidated quickly without big discounts and big loss of money, right? So these direct consequences are definitely something to pay attention to. However, the most important things I will pay attention to are the indirect consequences to their business partners. Honestly, I don't want to make specific names right now. It's very easy to find who the business partners are. You can Google it and whatnot. There is, these people did a ton of PR in months, to broadcast their orders, to broadcast their whatever technology, their deliveries, blah, blah, blah. So they don't need to make any name. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to say what's going to happen to their business partner in case SMCI cannot audit their financial and eventually even files for Chapter 11. First of all, the first impact is going to be on account receivable. Any business partner out there that has any credit against SMCI will be required by their auditor to assess their real value, and here the potential for a big write-off is significant. Where are these credits? Who is holding these credits? There is very little public information about this out there. However, we know from material that has been shared by several sources, including me, that SMCI had the bad habit of getting some delivery of goods, not paying them, so accumulating credits, then with their own clients, not fully delivering all the performance that they were supposed to while recording the full revenue, so they were not cashing in the payments. So clearly they accumulated credit in the market. The second problem is going to be inventory valuation. Every single business partner out there that purchased goods that were meant to be sold to SMCI is going to be forced to look at its inventory and then see whether this inventory can be replaced somewhere else, or if the value of this inventory has to be impaired. The third point is going to be prepayment or advances. It's no secret that in the tech industry there is a lot of vendor financing. It's no mystery whatsoever. In various shape or forms, it can be, as we said, in account receivables, but sometimes there are even like cash advances in the street. So clients can purchase the goods of a supplier, and then once they sell them, they can repay them, okay? Anyone that effectively commercially lent money to SMCI is going to have some issues here, and they will have to really consider the likelihood that they can recover this money that they lent for vendor financing. Needless to say that every business partner out there, in particular the listed ones, they will be forced to make disclosures about this. So far, no one did it. That's quite remarkable. No high-profile company out there that was openly doing business with SMCI dared to share any information with the market about the potential impacts of SMCI situation on their own business. It almost feels like SMCI was not doing business with people. Isn't this crazy, right? It's very strange. As if, like, everyone is trying to put some safe distance and then wash their hands and like, oh no, we're not doing business with them. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's not going to impact any future business. It's not going to impact any outstanding business we have. It's not going to impact any whatever pending credit or any advance that we have in the balance sheet. This is strange. I mean, this was a company that at some point was year to date gaining more in the stock market than Nvidia itself, for example. These banks were giving $1,500, $1,200 target prices. Like the sky was the limit. They had this cooling technology that could revolutionize the way to build data center and run GPUs efficiently, blah, blah, blah. And now no one is doing business with them. Come on, let's be serious. Sooner or later, companies will be forced to make disclosure on the business dealing with SMCI. And the more they drag their feet, by experience, I tell you, the more the chances that these disclosures are not just going to be like a breeze through your hair that maybe just bothers you a little bit. They're going to be substantial. And of course, needless to say, as a last point, SMCI having problem in auditing their financial statement, SMCI having problem in hire an auditor is going to increase the scrutiny of all other companies out there. I mean, this is a company is in the S&P 500. It's not like a small company in the corner of a market that, maybe gained a little bit. This was, at some point, a very large cap company that was being bought by asset managers around the world, by passive investors, by retail investors, and so on. So clearly, there is going to be a lot of audit scrutiny in any book that at some point cross path with SMCI. So be alert about this. Now, as if all this situation was not incredible enough, coincidentally, and as you know, I never believe in coincidences personally, Gary Gensler, the SEC chairman, last week hinted strongly at his resignations. This shortly after saying he would have cooperating with the new incoming administration to, ensure the safety and regular functioning of the market till the new administration was in place, and perhaps either keeping in his job, of course, zero chance, or replacing him with someone else. So why this sudden U-turn? What happened? Always ask why. Things don't just, drop from the sky. Someone wakes up in the morning, I'm like, you know what? I resign. That's it. Like, why now and not just wait for 2 more months? So what's the problem? So I tell you what is my gut feeling here. And yes, it might be speculation. Some things might be true. Some things might end up just being my fantasy. Who knows? But I wrote several articles about this in the past year, and frankly speaking, it's obvious that in the past 4 years, there have been things happening in the market that call them shocking. It's really an understatement. Like, there are days you can see with the naked eye, like price manipulation going on some stocks. There are days in which you see companies making, announcements or releasing some sort of PR, and then you check what happened ahead of that, and you have such a long trail of suspicious trading. I mean, just look at the tape. I can understand once, twice, but it's every single time? I mean, how can it be? You have cases of people being caught in the cookie jar, like my favorite Archegos, and the regulator being caught completely unprepared. So let's be honest here. In the past 4 years, especially, there are so many strange things that are happening in this market that are becoming harder and harder to justify. And even if that wasn't enough, you had the SEC, that stands for the Securities and Exchange Commission, being literally obsessed with prosecuting cryptocurrencies businesses. I mean, I don't want to enter in the specific details of this. However, let's just look at the facts that came out. As per legal documents that surfaced from the various lawsuit and proceeding, there have been even cases in which SEC employees even fabricated evidence to support their cases against counterparts. Right now, as I speak, 18 states sued the SEC for regulatory overreach against cryptocurrency businesses. Let me be clear. I'm not saying they should not have tried to prosecute them or regulate the space. What I'm saying here is that, first of all, the SEC is not a legislator, okay? They cannot make up the law. It was supposed to be upon the Congress to first pass the laws to regulate cryptocurrencies, and then the SEC to enforce them. This was not the case, right? So, I mean, and in the meantime they were doing this, clearly there has been a great expenditure of resources because other things happen in the market, other accidents happen in the market, and I'm sorry, the SEC didn't prevent them. So let's be honest and objective here. And also there is a very strange thing that I noticed in the past 4 years. So many high-profile SEC employees resigned, and only one actually gave a good reason. It was Alex O, the enforcement chief, and he resigned after 2 weeks on the job because conflict of interest with a company that he previously represented. But what about Christina Littman, the head of crypto assets and cyber unit? No official reason. What about her replacement, David Hirsch? What about Jennifer Lee, the associate director of division of enforcement? What about Adam Ederton, the co-chief of division of enforcement for the asset management unit? What about Kubir Griwal, the enforcement director? I mean, is it possible that all these people resign for no official reason? And in particular, like people dealing with enforcement, like what's going on? Why? It's a bit strange. So let me be clear. I'm not speculating here that illegal things happen inside the SEC. I have no proof and I don't care about that. However, there might have been significant oversight. And here I see the link with Smci because, honestly, just look at Smci trading in the past year. Like, this stock was literally going up vertically with incredible volumes, all concentrated in very deep out-of-the-money call options, clockwork PR announcements, like statements to, whatever, justify a price boost, brokers stampeding one on top of the other to do business with Smci at strange times, a broker in particular, like helping the company to place shares in the market, and after that, a massive run sparks. I mean, for example, in this case, did this broker really do proper due diligence? Did the SEC take a look at all this interconnection? Did they take a look at these coincidences? Like, how is it possible that the company files for a delay submitting the 10K audited annual statements and there is nothing coming from the agency? Not even a statement, nothing. I mean, this is a company with history. It's a company that's been delisted once already, has been caught cooking the books, has been fined by the SEC. Its CFO at that time has been personally liable, and so on. So, furthermore, apparently, a whistleblower came forward months before all of these events, flagging things that were happening, and no preventive action had been taken. The stock has been left going parabolically with people going on CNBC and Bloomberg and other TV shows saying, oh my God, the sky is the limit. We're gonna like even put servers in the garden of every single household in the world. I mean, come on, guys. Like, clearly there has been a little bit of, oversight here. So, furthermore, considering this is the case, what are the chances that in the meantime the SEC was busy waging war against anything that was cryptocurrency, both the good and bad ones? The bad ones, yeah, fair. But the good ones at times, some cases were significantly stretched and they dragged 4 years. So while they were busy that, what are the chances their very limited number of employees didn't see something happening, and sometimes maybe under their nose, sometimes even when given to them on a silver plate? I mean, let's be honest, I'll be high. So, good luck to Gary Gensler, good luck to his replacement, good luck to Smci tomorrow, and to every company that's going to be connected with them. But what's important here, and I want to conclude, is, always take a step back. Always analyze every single element that is available. Try to understand what are the links. Try to understand what's happening in the shadows that are kept away from the public eye. Try to risk assess your position, your stances, and everything that you do, because the worst position to be with is to be caught completely unprepared. And in these specific moments, there are so many warning bells around that not listening to them and being caught unprepared is a sin. So hopefully the information I shared today, the context and some elements will help you, your friends, and many people to take better informed decisions. Thanks a lot, everyone, for listening to me. Thanks for the support on X, on Instagram, and here on YouTube. Please feel free to subscribe to my channels for live updates. And if you have any direct question that you would like to ask me, I keep, making an effort to read all the comments, but it's humanly very difficult. So there is a specific section in my blog, JustDario.com, where you can ask Dario directly. And not just for me to answer, but, all these questions, since they keep repeating from many people, we can create a database to help everyone out there, and it's open for people to contribute. Thanks a lot. I wish everyone a nice end of their weekend and a nice, good, and eventually profitable week ahead. Thank you.